your career, when I look at the choices that you've made, I see roles that can always start conversations, and which I think is beautiful. Every role that you've played is so distinctly different from the other, and very monumental in the writing of female characters during that time, I feel. Anurag's interpretation of Devdi was obviously very different from, culturally different, and also traditionally different from what Devdi used to be. And it did cause a furor at the time, right? I remember that, of course, you were fantastic in that role. You brought in a lot of layers that required, but it was quite the discussion about the portrayal of Chanda and Chandramukhi. What happened to your learnings from that, and also the aftermath of it, if I might call it that? Because it was one of the roles that you were also extremely loved for.
Yeah, it's funny because it all came all very slowly, when I did Devdi, I remember Anurag's one advice was that I don't watch any of the older Devdas films. Yeah. He said, I want you to not have any hangovers about how this character should be. And I hadn't seen them, so that was lucky for him. And I stayed that way and did the role of Chanda without watching. And I think definitely, I'm glad I did that. Because if I'd seen Madhuri lecture, I'd be like, kya karungi main? I'm never going to be like that, So I'm really glad in a way that, I got that and that he protected me from that sort of, I guess, legacy or whatever it is that you feel like you have to match up to. But once the film came out, it wasn't an overnight hit. It was a slow cult classic that kind of grew and grew. And, the amazing music that Amit Trivedi, it must have been his first or second film then, he really really went crazy. People really loved that music. And I think I got time to let that sink in. And I also didn't get work for 2 years after Devdi. I was doing my play, The Skeleton Woman, which I co-wrote with my co-star, Prashant Prakash. So we were writing a play, we were putting up a play, traveling around the country. I didn't see a film for another 2 years, So it took a long time for me to kind of grow in the industry, to become famous. That didn't happen. People think that, I got that break and that's it, but it actually took a few films. And I think obviously Zindagi and Ye Jawani were the ones that sealed the deal, Yeah. Those are the guaranteed, selfies at everywhere I go is because of those two films. But yeah, so I got a good 3-4 years of introduction to the industry without being fully in it, which allowed me to also I think if you shoot up to fame immediately, it's also very overwhelming and you feel the pressure to keep yourself up there. But if you fall right away, you're kind of okay, this is an up and down game, and it is. There are many ups and downs, and you got to be okay with the downs, I guess.
What are the advices you were getting then, when you're going to casting directors? And because I hear people get a few weird ones for sure.
Yeah, then I don't remember everything, but I do remember somebody telling me to dye my hair black and do an item number. And what else? I remember, comments about the way I looked, about my teeth. That was often there. A little later, I had a producer also talk about, the Botox. Said, just a little bit of filler for the laughter lines. So, and it's all said very casually, it's not said you have to do this, otherwise you can't get the role.
In the
It's just casual, so then you can't even play it uncool and be how dare you say I should get Botox. So you just have to be ha ha ha, I'll try not to laugh so much.
Pretty much like how the sexual harassment works in the industry as well, right?
Yeah, casual.
Did you have to go through that as well with the same?
I've had 2 incidences where I would say I've been in very, uncomfortable situations. One was not even in this industry. One was in Cannes. And I wasn't even an actor then. I was a student in London. And I had gone to Cannes to sell Nokia phones. I was a promo girl for Nokia phones. And I was, on one of the, what do you call those?
Wagon sort of a thing. On the wheels, right?
Yeah, you lean forward and it moves. I forget the name. Anyway, I was on, at that time they were new as well. So they were promoting that along with the phone. And there was an Indian producer. I'm not going to say the name.
Sure.
But he knew somebody who knew my mother, whatever. They put me in touch. They're like, yeah, meet a good producer, Indian producer, big guy. You know. So I met him, went to see his screening at Cannes. And then he asked me out for dinner in London. And I just told him, yeah, if ever you know any leads about work, how I can get work and all. So he made it very clear that, you know, I have to be with him in order for that to happen.
Sleep with him and whatever.
So I obviously said no, thank you, and that was the end of that. And the other time it happened was when I went for an audition here for a film, and the producer said, "Oh, yeah, you want to do this film? That's great, but I need to get to know you because it's a big launch." And again, it was basically the same thing. Like, I need to get to know you. Come out with me. We'll go for dinner. So again, I was like, I'm sorry. I don't want to waste your time or mine. Bye bye.
How does it impact you at that moment? How do you deal with it? Like, how do you balance your expectations and disappointments? Is what I want to know.
I have a raging fury inside me. I want to just like smash everything in the room and punch the person in the face.
Yeah.
But I also have this, like, I think something that we as women grow up with, which is like, just keep it in, stuff it down, and just get out of this situation, because also out of safety and so many other reasons, out of like, I just want to extricate myself from here. I do not want to be part of this.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a disgust kind of experience. I can't, like, you can see my body literally rises up, and it's a strong place when you feel that rage inside you.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I have that in me. I don't know where it comes from. Probably my very angry mother. You know, I probably
Thank you to all our angry
Thank you,
mothers.
angry mother.
Seriously.
But you know, it's more than I can take, and then I just have to extricate myself before I scream ragefully. So that's how I feel about it.
No, of course.
How I felt. Yeah.
At that time. No, the conversation about Devdi also led to a lot of, like I said, cultural shifts, right? The movie did so many other things. I know that you had to go through so many comments about your film at that time, right? Like trying to typecast you, trying to do all of that.
In Devdi, yeah. Also, somebody had written that I'm like a Russian model who's come and done this film. I was very offended by this.
Really?
I said, how can you not know that I was born in Periyamudalia Chavadi? Why do your research? Then I realized a lot of journalists don't do their research. And now I'm like, oh yeah, okay, this one said this, theek hai, whatever.
It's okay, let me tell you.
The first
I am from, the first time. Let me tell you, I am from here again. But no, that's sad, right? I completely agree with you. Also, when I was saying cultural shift, is also the media stereotyping you as well, right? Because like we were discussing, everything becomes about the bold role. we were just discussing. Everything else that you've done is just categorized into that. That's something that you must have also kind of ruminated over or thought about, thinking like, why is it that you can't see what I'm trying to do here?
I think at that time, your first role, you don't really realize that it's a stereotyping. You just think, oh, okay, this is just like how it works. But as time goes, and each time you do a new role that succeeds, people want to see you only do that thing again and again and again. Now it's, like Homebreaker, Affair Girl, since, Made in Heaven, and Gully Boy, and I'm like, okay, but can I do anything else now? Even after Margarita, I got only disability roles. I'm like, guys, what? So I've kind of just understood that this is just the ebb and flow of stuff, that people only remember you for your latest, and then you have to rebuild each time.